Hey guys, so I went live with the amazing Phil Pallen a couple months ago, and he allowed me to speak about why you don't need so many followers and you need to stop obsessing over them, connecting in the DMs, my book Connect Don't Collect, and educational content and why everybody loves it. So here's the clip.
My friend Brian is going to join, and I can't wait for this. I talked about you a second ago, and by
Okay.
the way, everyone who's watching, this is my friend BKH, the BKH. We talk every single day on Instagram, and he's one of the smartest people I know on
Nah,
Instagram.
I learned everything from
And
Phil.
I included two experts in the course, my friend Jenny Melrose and my dear friend Brian, the BKH.
An
Um,
expert.
yeah, you are an expert. So if
I learned everything
people,
from you, Phil.
no, that's not true. If people are curious to go deep on Instagram, they should follow you because you keep us updated. I learned so much from you. You keep us super updated on like the
Please tell me you
latest
can't hear me.
trends and all of that. Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. So, hey, I mentioned you at the beginning of this live because you talk about
Yeah.
the fifth neighborhood of Instagram, and this is like a really
Yeah.
cool perspective. Can you share that, the role of DMs? Can you talk about that for like
Uh,
a few seconds?
yeah, of course. So people don't usually kind of count direct. It's actually called direct. And the reason why
Yeah.
it's called direct is because Instagram was actually going to spin it off into its own separate app called direct. So it's very much a separate place that Instagram itself on Facebook or whatever counts as a separate place to engage with your followers. The feed is the feed, and that's the oldest part of Instagram, isn't it? And then the most lively place of Instagram, I guess, is stories because there's multiple ways of interacting. There's stickers, there's swipe ups, there's sharing posts, there's IGTVs. What else is there? There's quick reactions, there's DMs, there's GIFs, all kind of ways to react in stories. But where the stories lead to, it doesn't lead you back to the feed unless you share a post, but it's to get reactions in your DM and talk to people because let's face it, when you really know someone or when you really want to connect with someone, what do? You text them. You don't post about your mom. You text your mom or you text your sister to see how they're really doing. So you don't really know anyone that you don't text. People can like your
Yeah.
post, but that's a very weak connection, even if they comment. But if you talk to them in the DMs, that's how you really connect. Phil, how do I know you? I don't know you. We didn't grow up together. We live in two separate countries. We connected on Instagram by talking in DMs and direct and Twitter, isn't it? So, and now I'm here, and I've got my own background. Thank you.
I love it.
So, then one of the stories is amazing, live is amazing. There's loads of engagement you can get on these places, but the most precious place is connecting with people in direct and actually getting to know them personally on a personal level, become friends. I literally bumped into one of my followers. It's even weird for me to say followers because I know people so well through direct. I bumped
Yeah.
into one of my followers literally yesterday,
Yeah.
and it was like, yeah, oh yeah, I already know you. Like, how's this one going? How's that going? It wasn't like, hey, my follower, you like my content kind of thing. It was like, we're friends already. And I've bumped into multiple people that follow me, and it's like, yeah, oh yeah, cool, yeah, 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 I know your name. I know if your son's doing all right. You know what I mean? It's not weird. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not
It's not
a
weird.
superstar, and yeah, I'm not a
It's
superstar on
just
Instagram.
it's just very 2020 and beyond.
Yeah,
So okay, there's a few things here that I love. I learned so much from you. So we just had a handful of people
that's what's
just
up.
join. I've been
Yeah,
talking for a few minutes. I've been promoting my course this week. Brian is one of the experts. I featured him on the course to talk about a few things because if you are not following Brian, you should be. He goes super deep on Instagram content and like will keep you up to date on everything you need to know. One of the things that you've been talking about recently that I love is kind of deconstructing people's obsession with having lots of followers. Um, and
yes.
you actually unfollow or you block people that are spam accounts. You
I
are
remove I removed them. Yeah,
talk a little bit about that, okay? Just kind of gear it
yeah,
towards people that are like absolutely hyper obsessed with the vanity of having a lot of followers and
yeah.
talk about why it doesn't matter as much as you think.
Yeah, funny enough, I spoke about this today. In terms of having loads of followers, followers are good. I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying like, only have 5,000 followers. Get as much followers as you can, but make sure it's as a result of actually providing value and not just following you and you're getting loads of followers for followers' sake, just to impress people. Like, oh, I've got 20,000 followers, but none of them buy your product or your services or
Right.
buy into anything that you do or even really pay you attention. Every time I see a bot or a fake follower follow me, I immediately remove that. It reduces your engagement because they're never going to engage on your post because they're not real. So that number doesn't mean anything if that person is never going to pay you attention, let alone pay for your products. So it's just irrelevant for that person to even, because you're going to be like, I've got 20,000 followers, but then only 100 people like my post. Yeah, because they're not real.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So in effect, sometimes you're just having these followers just to lie to yourself, to feed your own ego.
Yeah.
If you've got something to sell. People always ask me, how do you know it's a bot or a spam? I'm gonna get onto that in a sec. So don't just have followers for followers' sake. And if there are fake people following you, or even people that don't engage, and the only way to know that is by watching your engagement, see who's liking your post, see who comments. Go through your followers and like, oh, I haven't seen this person comment or DM me. Well, they can unfollow me because they're clearly not interested. You should only be focused on and worried about people who are actually interested in you and your content, just like a musician.
Yeah.
You should only be caring about people that are going to come to the shows and buy your music, really, not people that aren't. Do you know what I mean? Because those are the people that you want people to be interested. You know, you don't just want a fancy number for your ego. How do you know?
How do you know when it's a bot?
First of all, I'll either be sending you a Bitcoin or a Forex trader account. None of their posts will make any sense. They don't add up. There'll just be some random set of random weird graphics or pictures that don't make any sense about any Forex trading or Bitcoin or whatever. Their name will make no sense. It'll be like Bitcoin trader Jane. 1,000% of my customers' money after working with 2 weeks for me or whatever. The only thing that makes sense would be their bio picture, because that would be real, because they would have stolen it from another human being's profile that has no idea, and usually it will be either a pretty male or a pretty woman, because we all know pretty sells, right? So the only thing that will be real is that, and some of them don't even go to that extent. They just have a fake Bitcoin picture. So that's how you know if they'll be fake. And also, there are a lot of people on Instagram that are here to just kind of learn, and I call them watchers. So they're here to learn from you. They might have no profile pic, but they follow a lot of educational accounts. They might have one post, but it's on private, and a couple of people follow them. Those people might buy into your products because they're here to learn. So if they're just watchers, they're here to watch your content and probably bookmark it and save it. And they probably buy your book or your webinar or your course because they're here to learn. They're not really here to post anything or use Instagram like how it's supposed to be used. So I've got loads of people with no profile pictures, and my friend told me that Young Bogus Boy, he always told me like, DM these people and say, hey, who's behind this account? Because you want to know who's following you again. Because in the DMs you're trying to connect.
It's really
cool. Who's behind this account?
It's really cool.
And loads of people said, loads of people will say to me like, oh, yeah, man, I love your content. I just follow you because I'm trying to learn. Keep it up. And I'm like, okay, cool. There's a real person there. Do you know what I mean? I know they're trying to learn.
You kind of keep tabs on those people. I have one more question. One more question for you, BK, and then I'm going to let you go back to your beautiful sunny walk in London. Sure. What is happening? The sun in England?
One of the rarest days. Yeah, a rare day.
So someone asked earlier about educational content on Instagram, and I talked about this as an amazing way to get in front of the right people, as long as the content you're educating on is ideally your target audience. I haven't looked at it because I've been live for the last few minutes, but my live or my feed post this morning was 12 apps for Instagram, and it's already been saved 100 times in just like half an hour. Can you talk about your opinion on educational content, or maybe some other examples of content that's working really well?
One thing I know about people is that they love to learn. So education always works. Everyone's always looking to kind of better themselves. And even if, like, for instance, like you might take a course and you'll start it in the first 2 weeks and then just kind of drop it off, people always want to kind of get themselves to another level, either make more money, depending on what your promise is. with yours is master Instagram, master email, or make more money, and that's why people always get duped into those make more money schemes, because we're always looking to learn how to do better, get pay a raise in a job. So it's just with educational content, it's tied to human nature.
Yeah.
So social media is just, so social media didn't invent being social. You know what I mean? So being social is a human natural thing. So when you're saying education, in London we spend 16 years, in forced education, and you can go to college if you want, you can go to uni if you want. So you can spend up to about 21 years, probably even 25 years, depending on if you're trying to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, in education. So our brains are wired to receive education already. Do you know what I mean? And from babies, you're trying to learn. So education content is a human thing to learn.
It's
you know
a
what I mean?
human
So everybody
thing.
loves
It's never ever gonna go away because humans always want to learn.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm a
This is,
teacher
by the way,
by nature as well.
This is the perfect segue. I want to tell people that you have an ebook that you just launched in the last week or so, and it's awesome.
Yeah, allow me to plug on your live where you were selling your course.
I know. Do you love that I came on here to promote my own course, and now I'm promoting?
Yeah, I'm lucky.
That's what's happening.
All right, I will. So I've got an ebook called Connect, Don't Collect, and it's all about so once you've gotten your followers, how to actually connect with those followers, and that could lead to a sale, that could lead to a relationship. Again, I've got a relationship with Phil, who's from Canada. I'm from London. We have no reason to meet except on an app like this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And Phil was one of the first people I literally connected with when I started taking Instagram seriously.
Yeah.
And now, two years later, we're still friends. We're still connected to
see each
other. Exactly.
I love it. I have to jump over to another call now. So if you're just joining us now, I'm going to push this to my IGTV and preview it on my feed. BKH, you're a featured expert in the course that I've been talking a lot about this week. So thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your beautiful sunny walk, and have the best day, everyone. If you joined live, you'll be able to see the replay shortly on my IGTV.
All right.
Thanks, BKH.
Peace.
Bye, everyone.